Hello everyone! I'm back with another video, and I have definitely said this before, but this one's gonna be a little bit different than what I usually do. Hello, Simba's coming to see me. I don't think you've appeared on camera before, buddy. This is your debut. Anyway, my name is Cheyenne, and I make videos here about pretty much whatever I want. Mostly it's about tabletop role-playing games, crafts, being creative, sometimes like writing, comics, anything that is a special interest of mine, I guess you could say. And today is a little bit of a different vibe because I don't have a script or even an outline really written for this video. I know kind of what I want to say, but this is going to be a lot more rambly because usually I have like a script. You can probably tell in a lot of my videos I'm reading. I'm not really worried about you being able to tell, but I just wanted to make this video kind of like off the cuff. I'm not really part of the booktube or book talk scene at all. I used to have a lot more time to read a lot of books when I was younger. I was like a huge bookworm, especially like in regards to like my family and my friends. I read a lot of books, hit up the library all the time. I had all like the books that I read, like following like all sorts of authors. Yeah. So that changed a little bit as I grew up. I honestly read more fan fiction now than I do any other mainstream novels. Occasionally I do still read books, but I feel very like apart from the community because not only am I not really like doing it, but I'm not really like making videos about that. I'm not like really big in the scene because it's been so long since I've like been a really big prolific reader. A lot of like the books that I have read, they're not the books that everyone's like talking about now. That being said, I still occasionally catch some videos and some of the tea over from booktube or book talk, you know. And there was one interesting like viral situation that caught my eye and I had a lot of thoughts about. So I thought maybe like I would just throw the camera on because I'm filming a few other videos. I'm dressed, I have my makeup on and everything ready to go. Might as well make use of my time. You know what? So here we are. Definitely gonna be more rambly than I usually am. And we'll see if that's a good thing or not. So what I kind of want to make a video about is around this recent book talk discourse and situation over this reader who tried to cancel someone for using AI allegedly. And now they're getting in possible legal trouble for it. So maybe you've heard of this situation. I have a lot of thoughts around it. Before we get into it much further, I want to like actually read the post from the OP that I saw. This is the only thread I have posted about this. Please stop making fake joke threads, pretending to be me and changing details to make me sound worse. I would have liked to delete this, but now I can't because this is the only place I can say those posts are not mine. I am leaving this here so there is some kind of evidence of this because several people have reached out and told me the author is most likely trying to punish me by making me pay legal fees and consultations, and she is most likely not going to take this to court. But I am scared she will go further if she thinks I am posting crazy threads everywhere. For those of you who have reached out to help me and support me, because you have been there too, thank you. A few months ago, I read a book that was recommended here, obviously not naming it because apparently I'm already in enough trouble, and found an obvious AI line. Let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. I was suspicious right away. I kept reading and found more things that didn't even make sense. She padded across the floor, for example. That would be okay in a shifter romance, but humans don't pad. Characters were doing generic things like dragging their hands through their hair, clenching their jaws, and arching their eyebrows. A side character's name changed too, but only for one sentence. I don't want to post my exact review because I don't know if I should be talking about this online in the first place and don't want to bring more attention to it. But all I said was that the book is AI and I explained how I could tell. That's literally all I did. But the woman is suing me. I've been panic Googling for like 48 hours straight, and apparently she has to prove what I said was false. But how can she prove she didn't use AI? I'm a grad student. I have $73 in my bank account. I can't afford to deal with this right now. I'm literally so broke that I got the book through other means. So I'm wondering if the fact I didn't make a purchase might actually help. I know this is a stretch, but I'm in full panic mode. I have really bad anxiety, and she is a big enough author. I think she has the resources to follow through. Should I message her and apologize and promise to delete the review? I would have already deleted it, but I feel like that's my only leverage at this point. Help. And then there's edits. So edit 1, I'm in Florida, if that matters. Editing again because I was advised to not send anyone else pictures of the papers, but it was confirmed they are legit and not boilerplate. The author is in the US as well. So I don't think I can ignore this. And yes, this is a throwaway. My main has links to my GR. That's Goodreads, I'm sure. I'm not doxing myself. Okay, so that is a lot. And I definitely have thoughts about this. And so does everyone else in the world. I'm pretty sure, like from what I could see, everyone was tearing her apart. And good reason. But first off, let's talk about like AI in general, because at this point we know how dangerous and like harmful specifically generative AI can be. It's a big hot topic, especially in, you know, the creative fields of like visual art and writing and a bunch of areas right now. We know that it's trained on stolen images and stolen work. We know that it's incredibly bad for the environment. We know that it is possibly even dangerous. We know that, you know, it can spread. It might not even be true. There's like a lot of misinformation and mistakes that AI does in the creation of these. So it's not like a universal thing. I think that most people are kind of on board with the fact that generative AI is probably not good for the creative field and for creative people, particularly if they're losing opportunities and jobs and having their art stolen because of it. Now that's true, but it's also true that this original poster was completely in the wrong. And I think that most people are agreeing with it. Like the response that I've seen, people, like I said, are tearing her apart. Because the thing that I come back to, it's like everything that she pointed out that is evidence of AI, it's stuff that like, you know, like I talked about reading a lot more when I was younger. That was like way before AI was really even a thing. And like all these phrases were there. These lines all existed. And maybe that's saying something about like trends and tropes and like not being like super creative with your writing. But you know, that's not like wrong. Like people claim that AI generation is wrong, you know, like that's like not a moral failing if you're using like established sayings and tropes within your work, right? Like let's look at the specific stuff that she brought up. Let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. Okay, she patted across the floor. Characters doing generic things like dragging their hands through their hair, clenching their jaws, and arching their eyebrows. Okay, and then another evidence was a side character's name changed too, but only for one sentence. These are all like mistakes that could happen naturally. And most of them aren't even mistakes, right? Like they're just established turns of phrase that already exist. I don't think I want to even play the game like that's bad writing, like just because you use an established phrase. I haven't read this book. I don't know if it's bad writing or not. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. but it's just like a phrase that has existed for a long time, and you could potentially use that in interesting ways in your work. I guess that part doesn't even matter. Yeah, but I saw a lot of other people pointing out the same thing, right? These are phrases that we've seen long before AI was a thing. We're continuing to see it. If this person reads a lot of books, which I'm assuming like they would if they're posting on r/romantasy, I'm surprised that they would even clock this, because it must have been something that they read in other works before. And I guess like, what is about this work or this author in particular that makes you like see that and it goes off in your brain? Like, is there a different reason why you're like going after her for is there a different reason why you're going after them for and accusing them of like AI use? Because it seems wild to me that this person would have never heard like padding before outside of like a shifter book, like that definitely exists. It's not just like werewolf novels that would use that, right? A breath she didn't know she was holding. A lot of my fan fiction stuff, like they use that all the time too. Like it's not new, it's not strange, it's not weird. And then there's nothing else here that would make me clock AI. The whole side character's name, that's just a mistake that, stuff like that happens. It could have been missed for a lot of reasons. Maybe the character's name was different and then it changed, and then that one just didn't get changed along with it. You know what I mean? Readers are allowed to leave reviews as well. They're allowed to leave bad reviews if they didn't like it too. But this says nothing about not liking it or not enjoying it. It's just like accusing the author of using AI, right? And then they're so shocked that the author would like go after them because of that. Like as much as I don't like AI use either, I've never been one of these people who are like joining the witch hunts of trying to like accuse people and like find out exactly who is using AI and who's not, because I feel like as humans, and this is backed up in like psychology research too, we have like way too much confidence in ourselves that we can like catch a lie, that we can know what another person is thinking, and we're very overconfident that we know the truth of things, and sometimes it is very obvious, but AI is getting better and better every day. And I think people forget that AI is trained off of existing art styles, existing writing styles, styles that have been here for years and years and years before AI ever even became a thing. And there's still styles that exist outside of AI, even though AI is emulating those styles, right? So if you see something that is like the AI style, that doesn't necessarily mean that that author is that author or that artist is using AI, like the classic anime girl style. Like when you think of art, like I've seen a lot of people who see that nowadays and they automatically clock it as AI, even though there's no other AI indicators, And she never mentioned this being the case here, or they never mentioned this being the case here, but those bots or like indicators that you can like put the work in and it gives you a percentage, those are not accurate at all. So you can like come in and you can bring that and say, oh, this website said it was like 98% chance of being AI. That doesn't matter. I have seen those be completely wrong about things that were AI and say that it's not. And I've seen the opposite, where they're so certain that something is AI and it's not, and they're so certain that something is not AI and it is, right? So like we can't rely on those either. There has to be other indicators. In the first place, I don't want to play that game because I know, even if I am like pretty sure that it's AI, I don't want to take the risk of it not being AI, Because personally, if it's not, I understand how damaging that could be to someone's writing career or their artist career, you know? People, like, the economy is bad right now. This is people's livelihoods. I don't want to mess with that. And this person is asking for sympathy and help regards to this, but they callously went after this person. And it seems clear that there was not enough evidence to claim that it's AI. They didn't even say that this was just their opinion or something that they're suspicious of. The way that they say it is like with like full confidence, as though it's like definitely 100% verified fact that they know 100% is the case. Even just saying, oh, I think this AI could like negatively impact someone's livelihood in this way, you know, but they took it a step further. And I'm not seeing any sense of like remorse or self-reflection or like any lesson learned from them here, unfortunately, or them realizing that like actually that's wrong, that's like really harmful to this author. They're like maybe taking action and they're upset about this for a good reason. They talk about apologizing to them, but I think it's clear that they're not apologizing because they actually feel sorry, but it's more that they just want, like, they're afraid of potentially being sued and what action this author can take against them, and they want to prevent that from happening, right? I don't know. It's might be harsh, but it just feels like maybe you should have thought of that before you opened your mouth, you know? Like, our actions have consequences, and this is like a direct, natural consequence to your action. I'm a grad student, $73 in the bank account, can't afford this, I'm broke, and I got the book through other means. Come on. Like, this person has like no high horse to be on in this case, you know? Like, you're accusing this author of something and you're clearly saying like, oh, this is bad, this is morally bad, people should know about it. And then you're also like pirating their book. I don't even know if this person is like well, they say that it's kind of like a big enough author, but I how do they doubt this is like J.K. Rowling or Stephen King, you know, where they can like they're successful enough, they're rich enough that they can like just brush off people pirating their art, right? Something tells me that that is not the case, and like it does really bother me that this person just appears to be completely uncaring about any aspect of this, in the fact that they're hurting this author's livelihood, both through like pirating the book in the first place and then like making that accusation that, like, you know full well that that can absolutely ruin their career. It can absolutely hurt their sales. It can absolutely hurt their livelihood, their reputation. All of that is so important as an author, as a writer, as an artist online. The part where they say that they have bad anxiety, I have bad anxiety too, you know? Like, I have so much sympathy for people who are like struggling with finances, struggling with their mental health, but it doesn't absolve you from the consequences of your actions, you know? Like, I don't know if they should get so much. I'm sure they're dealing with a lot. I'm sure it's like really like a scary situation to be in. It's gone viral at this point. Everyone is throwing in their 2 cents, including me. People are probably not saying nice things. They're probably being very mean. I'm sure they probably have death threats. And no matter what, no one deserves any of that. But the one natural consequence, and like the author is well within their right. Hello, future Cheyenne here. I am not all dressed nicely or wearing makeup or anything like that, unfortunately. But the conclusion that I originally recorded got all screwy. I don't know what happened, but I just want to end the point that I was making. I was right at the end, but I was saying something about how I think that the author in this case is kind of well within their rights to do something. I think the author in this case is kind of well within their rights to take action. I know that there's something to be said for how litigation happy people are these days, but I think that this legitimately is something that can really ruin your reputation. It can really hurt your finances. And not everyone is gonna do their due diligence or like think critically. If they see a review like this, they'll see AI, and that might affect sales. It's hard to have sympathy with this person. They so callously didn't care about the livelihood of the author. Why are we supposed to feel so much protection over like the livelihood of them? Especially considering how at the end there, it's obvious that they still had yet to take the review down. Like, at the very least, if you're reading a lot of the responses that you have been getting, you should realize that some of the points that you thought pointed to AI, maybe you really thought it was an AI. Maybe you really thought it was AI. Maybe, this was genuine. You made a mistake, but it's been pointed out to you, the errors of that judgment, and you should have taken the review down already. It's still up. It could still be hurting them. That could be the reason why they sent this anyway. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an expert in this. Yeah, I don't think I had much else to say. Those were just my 2 cents. I do want to put a little call to action. I'm having a lot of fun making these videos. I know they're not super polished. I know they're not super professional, but I would love if I start to grow a little community here. I really want to hear what other people are thinking. I want to see your takes about this in the comments below. Yeah, stay weird, stay safe, take care until my next video, if I happen to make one. Bye.